Hi everybody, Elvis Sumbele here, your love, relationship and marriage coach for another edition of the program, The Love Clinic. We are continuing with the season 1, the reasons for domestic violence and passionate crime, and our topic today is trust, episode 1 of the season 1. So today we are talking about trust. Trust is one of the fundamental aspects that ensures the stability and longevity of a relationship. The loss of trust in a relationship or marriage is the beginning of the breakdown of that marriage or relationship. So it's of utmost importance to maintain the trust of a relationship. One of the most delicate things to handle in a relationship is trust. So once it is lost, the foundation of that relationship becomes shaky. To continue, we'll have to talk about how to regain trust. But before then, we have a guest in the show today, all the way from the United States. She is a Cameroonian based in the United States, and she has been working with non-governmental organizations on gender equality. She has appeared on several TV platforms, still on this, because she holds the advocacy for gender equality and domestic violence. Mata Pono is our guest of the show today. Let's get to Mata Pono. Hello Mata, you're welcome to the show today. Today we are talking about domestic violence and passionate crime. Of course, that's the season 1 of the show, and the episode today we are talking about trust. Please give us your contribution to the show. What's your take on that?
Thank you, Elvis, for bringing me into the show today. You said we are in a season of one of the shows entitled Reasons for Domestic Violence and Passionate Crime, and the topic we are treating today is trust. Thank you so much. Before we go into talking about trust, I want us to let us look at the meaning of the word trust. The dictionary defines trust as to believe that someone is good and honest and will not harm you, and that the person or the thing you are believing in is safe and reliable. Another meaning too is confidence in the honesty and integrity or sincerity of a person or thing with whom you are dealing. When we look at the word trust has a series of things. I want to break trust into dimensions of trust, fundamental elements of trust, the components of trust, and then we'll conclude with the Word of God. Fundamental elements of trust will include the ability, the integrity, and benevolence of the person we are believing completely in. Components of trust equally include competence, honesty, and benevolence. And the dimensions of trust, we have competence, we have openness and honesty, we have concern for others, we have reliability and identification. You identify with something, or you identify with somebody. Now, in a relationship, trust is fundamental. When I was going through my notes, I had this question: if somebody can love without trusting? And the simple answer I'll give here is that love dies without trust. So love does not exist when there is no trust at all. It doesn't exist when there is no trust. In a couple, we have to be open. We have to be honest. We have to show concern for our partners. We have to be reliable. We have to, what will I say? When we are honest, we are open, we share things together. There is nothing we hide from the other person. That is trust. And love is going to grow. at the level of trust we place in each other in the relationship. Now, when I went further to look at what may be the causes of lack of trust, I saw the following: jealousy. Jealousy. This partner is always jealous of the other. I am always jealous of my spouse. My spouse is always jealous of me. That attitude of jealousy gradually kills trust. We have another aspect: possessiveness. My spouse wants to possess me like he's possessing a good. He has taken me to be a thing, a piece of property. So he calls me his possession. So everything I do should be subject to his command. Everything I do should be in agreement with his. If it is not in alignment with his own idea, no, he is not comfortable. So possessiveness, jealousy, like I said, they are all gradually killing the trust we have in our spouses. And the third aspect, the third thing that kills trust is unreasonable rigidity. I stand at this point. Maybe the spouses are discussing something, and one of them, we are sharing something, and I say, okay, this is my take. And then my spouse says, no, this cannot be. It must be the way I want it to be. The spouse, we are not flexible. As we are not flexible, we don't want to see what the other person thinks. We don't want to appreciate the other person. It gradually kills down the level of trust in a relationship. Emotional infidelity due to lack of emotional support. What is emotional support? Maybe I work, my spouse works, I go to my workplace, I encounter something, an experience which maybe takes me off. I am kind of stressed from the emotions, and then I come back home. I want to share the stress I went through at my workplace with my spouse, and my spouse is not ready even to listen to what I have. No, good spouses, good couples, when they come back from work in the evening, after retiring, they share their experiences for the day. If there were aspects of failure, they advise each other and they compliment each other. But when one of the spouses comes back and the other person does not want to listen, there is a lack of emotional support, and it will gradually lead to emotional infidelity. Then we have another aspect: physical or sexual infidelity. This is when
Okay, Mata Pono there for that contribution. Thank you very much, Mata, for that outstanding contribution, and we hope to have you in our subsequent editions. Thank you, and bye for now. You heard it from her. We continue with our topic. Now, how to regain trust in a relationship. How to regain trust in a relationship. Step 1, the first thing you need to do. I have 4 points that I'm going to give you, which are very important points that if you follow them and you implement them, it will be easy for you to regain trust. Remember, trust is one thing that once it is lost in a relationship, it's very difficult to regain. So follow this point that we are going to share. I'm going to share with you and implement them. I bet you are going to regain trust in your relationship. First point: step up communication. Step up communication. So much that you need to communicate with your partner constantly. You need to talk things out. You need to talk. You need to communicate from time to time. Talk with your partner. Step up communication so that let the person know that, okay, this is what my partner want to do. I'm not trying to say you should kind of be reporting to your partner like you are reporting to, like a child is reporting to. Of course, it's communication. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know where you're going. Let them know with whom you're talking. Let them know everything about you. And once the person knows that you are really communicating, you are talking things out with them, they'll start trusting you again. They'll say, okay, that I think that's your dependence. This person is serious now. And once communication is stepped up, you start building the trust again, and your person, the person that you start regaining trust. The second point, agreement in writing. It's going to sound funny, but this is something very important. You agree and you write it down. What do I mean by this? Take for instance, you lied about something, and you promise, after you communicate and things like that, you promise that you are not going to lie again. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Agree. Write it down. Why do you write it down? It serves as a guide to remind you of that thing that you did. We are human beings, remember, and being forgetful is part of human nature. So it is very normal that at one point in time you might those things that you promised might slip off your memory, and you repeat the same mistake again, and before you realize, you are just reminding the person of what you did. And remember, once the trust is already shaky, once the trust is already lost and the foundation is shaky, once you do that thing again, it simply reminds the person, it's like it comes back at fresh. So once you have that thing written down, and you can paste it on the wall, put it somewhere, put it on your phone, somewhere, write it down. It will remind you. The third thing that I want us to look at, own up and take responsibility. Then, sincerely ask for forgiveness over what you did. Sincerely ask for forgiveness. Remember, you want to regain trust. You've done something to your partner, and your partner is hurt. One of the things you need to do is own up. Like, I understand that I have done this, I have done that. Take responsibility of it. Then sincerely ask for forgiveness. Tell the partner, I am truly sorry for what I did. I am truly, truly sorry, and I promise not to do it again. I understand that what I did was wrong. I have reflected and I realized that what I did was wrong, and I want to ask for forgiveness. I apologize for it sincerely. Once you apologize on something sincerely, and the person knows that you are not trying to justify, but you apologize on something, it's more like you planted a seed on a harsh ground, and once the apology comes out like you are pouring water. Once you pour water in it, the seed you planted gets a fresh ground, and before you realize, it starts germinating. That's how it is. Remember, trust is like a wound in the heart. Then the final one is connection. Stay connected to each other all the time. Be connected to each other, like, all the time. They should know what you want to do. Be connected. Be open-minded. Try to check each other all the time. Try to talk about yourself. Like, you should really be yourself. You should be together all the time. Be connected to each other, physically, mentally, spiritually, and you should always be connected to each other. You should be able to read the person's feeling. Like, what's my partner feeling right now? If something is bothering the person, you should be able to perceive and know that, okay, something is wrong, and what can be done. Show some concern. That's the connection I'm talking about. In conclusion, what I want us to understand is, bear in mind that rebuilding trust or regaining trust takes time. It takes time. The mistake we make out here is that most of the times, once you ask for forgiveness or you apologize on something, you want instantly your partner to, things to just change, and things just come back to normal. It doesn't work that way. Trust, once it is lost, it's like a wound in the heart. Remember, I said this. So rebuilding that trust is like a healing process It's more of a healing process. So it takes time, gradually. Then eventually, there are people who might take even 1 month. There are people who take just a day. There are people who take a week. And there are people who take even a year. Some who even take years. And that's depending on what you did to your partner. So don't expect it to come instantly. Trust is like, I remember once my professor said something about trust. He said, it takes seasons. It takes a long time to construct. And it takes just a twinkle of an eye to crush it down. Take for instance, this big building. How long it takes them to build that building? To construct that building, it takes a lot of time. They need to put this together, they need to put that together. It takes a lot of time to construct. But to crumble it down, it takes just no time. Within a few minutes, the whole thing is down. So that's how trust is. Don't always expect it to come like magic. It's gradually. Then you regain the trust and you rebuild the trust again. Then my final advice to you who received the pain: let go of the pain. Then start thinking positive about yourself and your partner if you really want to trust them again. Most of the times we hold on to the pain for so long that we don't see the good thing the other person does to even try to regain the trust again. We hold on to that pain for so long. We keep thinking about it. We make it like part of our thoughts. No, it's not supposed to be like that. It is true you've been hurt. Let it go. Let go of the pain. Most especially if you see that the person is putting efforts to make the changes. Let it go. Start thinking positive about yourself. Make yourself happy. And start thinking positive about your partner. Once you start thinking like that, already you start laying the foundation to rebuild trust again. So that as time goes on now, you see that gradually you trust the person again, and your relationship will get back to its feet. Once the relationship is already on a shaky foundation, it's very difficult. Even communications will not be straight, and a lot of things will go wrong. So once the trust is there in the relationship, try as much as possible not to get it ruined. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being part of today's edition of the program. Remember, we are in the season 1 of the reasons for domestic violence and passionate crime. Then the episode 1 of this season is trust. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for following to the end of the program. And I still want to say thanks to you, Mata Pono, all the way from the United States, who contributed in the program, and to all of you who have been following me from the day 1 of this show. I remain humbled and thankful to you. Let's keep the flame burning. Please don't forget to follow me on Facebook and subscribe on my YouTube channel so that you don't miss my subsequent editions. God bless you. Peace, and I love you.